I think individuals will carry themselves a lot more cautiously.
Today we have Mike Hostilo. He is a personal injury attorney. I'm sure you've seen either his face or his ads or both all around the Low Country. Mike, welcome to the show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you got into what you're doing today?
Thank you very much for having me. I am a native of Beaufort County. I moved to the area when I was 13. My dad stationed in the military over at Parris Island. Went away to school in Georgia, then came back in 1992. So this is my 28th year being a lawyer around the area.
How did you get into personal injury? How did you get to have such a passion for this? Because it's clear that you do.
Well, I was sort of a general practitioner, and then in 2007, we got into the advertising space and specifically personal injury. So that was the best opportunity to represent folks and fight for them. So since 2007, specifically personal injury and car wrecks would be the main area.
So personal injury, that really runs the gamut. It's exactly what it sounds like, workers' comp, wrongful death, nursing home abuse cases, which to me, it's inconceivable that those things happen, but they do. And these are the things that you see every day, isn't that right?
Yeah, you've done your homework, so yeah, that's all of the stuff. Yeah,
I was this close to law school, so I speak the language a little bit.
Okay, so Social Security disability, VA benefits, it could be, there's a number. But, the bread and butter of our practice is probably 95% car wrecks, but all of those other areas of personal injury we do as well.
Okay, perfect. So how is this what we're seeing now in these last, it's really more than several weeks at this point. It's just kind of flying right along. But this pandemic, the coronavirus stuff, you have practices in multiple states. So how has that affected your business relative to that? And then just relative to personal injury in general, if people need you?
Yes, that's correct. We're in multiple cities, multiple states, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. We just try to pay attention to the local politicians and the regional situations and the mandates, and every situation is different. What one elected official does in one city or one county is different from another. And so we just have to stay abreast of what's going on to make sure we are able to, serve our clients.
Has it been difficult to stay on top of that? Have those things changed a lot on your end since the beginning of this? Have you seen a lot of fluctuation in what those rules look like?
Yeah, there's obviously a conflict. For example, in South Carolina versus Georgia, they're entertaining reopening the economy. In the government in South Carolina has a differing opinion to the government in Georgia, and then Alabama's another situation. So it just we have to be sensitive to the needs of our team members and also our clients and what they're willing to do and what they're able to do.
So how has this looked? I mean, it's really interesting. And I don't know really what I don't know, which is one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today and bring your insight to the viewers. But so, for example, I'm thinking if there is something that's going through the courts right now, is it still able to go through? Are they open? Are they limited? What does that look like?
Well, the majority of our cases are claims that are handled in pre-litigation. So okay. I would say 95 or even higher than that, most of our claims are resolved before litigation. But to answer your question, again, the court systems are essentially suspended. They're not having live court because of the pandemic, but still a lot, technology has allowed us as a business to stay open. Technology has allowed the adversaries to, so to speak, the insurance companies or the other lawyers to stay in business, and we still can get matters resolved, using this wonderful thing we have called technology. Now, if this had happened 28 years ago when I started, there's no way we could have, conducted business.
Exactly. Now, do you think that there are things that you've integrated into your business as a result of this, speaking of technology, that you may continue to have in your process in the future, or do you think you'll go kind of back to where you were before?
That's a good question, because we have a lot of folks that have children, and South Carolina just announced that they're not going to they're going to suspend school for the rest of the year. So that's something we have to consider in South Carolina or in Georgia that has already suspended school for the rest of the year. And a lot of our, team members have children at home, and we've seen a very productive situation. A lot of our folks are being very productive at home. Obviously, they probably would rather be in the office, but I don't know. The only thing that it's really we haven't seen a great impact internally on our business because of technology, and we're able to work remotely. The only thing that we do that's been sort of altered is generally when someone gets in a car accident or is injured, we historically have gone to them, their home, their hospital bed. Now we're doing it remotely, or we'll doing it, we'll go see them with the proper social distancing and the guidelines mandated by the government. But we'll just have to take it on a case by case basis. But we have been very amazed how the technology we have internally and things like Zoom and the ability to be able to interact and interface and to communicate during this time has kept us, we're unusual, but we've been able to stay afloat.
Absolutely. And it's incredible that, as I speak to different people in various industries about all of this and their incorporation of these different technological capabilities, for better or worse, it sounds like there's a lot of opportunity to increase efficiency at the very least, which is fantastic. And it sounds like you're seeing that too.
Right. You've taken the words out. Efficiency is the key word. It's we're able to do more with less. And who knows? Let's just hope this thing is over soon. But we've learned a valuable lesson on how to, as my Marine father would say, improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Hey, that sounds like my mantra, even though I didn't have those exact words, but now I do. So, what would you say to the viewers? Do you have any suggestions, recommendations, tips? What's one thing from your perspective that you would suggest people be doing or looking out for right now, whether it's being prepared for a circumstance or anything? What would you say?
In law or just in life?
Both.
I definitely think the way that we interact and the way we socialize will be affected for God knows how long, if not forever. Like the way we greet people when we see them, to the way that we conduct ourselves in community events, social events, sporting events. But as far as a business standpoint, we'll be bigger and better for it. Obviously, we have, our business is very much dictated by how traffic is. And I'm not saying that I want more cars out there because there's more accidents. It gives me more business, but I think individuals will carry themselves a lot more cautiously in their business lives, in their professional lives, in their personal interactions, because this is an enemy unlike that many of us have ever seen. We don't know how to attack it. Americans are resilient. We're always able to fight. We will overcome this, right? We will survive this. But every other enemy we've been able to identify, right? From the mortgage crisis in 2008 to the 9/11 in 2001 to whatever, we've always been able to point at something and go, we're going to attack this. Mm-hmm. Whereas with this, we don't know how it's contracted, who's affected, how it's affected. And it's just going to make us more conscious as people.
Yeah. What thoughts do you have on this whole situation as far as how this is going to affect society moving forward? And I think you've touched on a lot of it.
I'll just give you my personal opinion on it.
Love to, please.
I will go out and conduct business, and like I said, once I leave you today, I'm going to have a meeting with a doctor that I do business with. But I think I'm going to be reluctant to go sit in a restaurant, which I love to do. I'll be reluctant to go to a football game, which I love to do, or go to a concert, which I love to do. And I think a lot of people are going to, until consumer confidence comes back and we're able to live a little bit more freely, it's going to dramatically affect the way we conduct our lives.
Absolutely, I agree.
So, yeah, I guess there's no questions. We're not that interesting. So, especially,
you'd be surprised how few we actually get. A lot of times, though, we will get them later. So, guys, if you are watching this live and you think of something later, once you've really had an opportunity to digest all this information, this was pretty rapid fire. But if you've got, we've got one. How's your golf game? I think this one's for you.
I have played more golf recently than I want to. I'm an avid golfer, as anybody that knows me well. I would like to work more than play golf. My golf game is not very good because I've played too much golf, because I can get my work done and then I'm around the house. So it's a good way to get out and get some air and clear my head. But my golf game is a C minus.
Hey, there you go. And I'll answer it too. Why not? My golf game is not as abysmal as you would expect for a beginner, but it's very much a beginner's golf game. And we live in this incredible mecca of this wonderful sport, but for those of us who are just running around constantly, you just don't get to get out that often. It's not a quick playthrough. It takes some time, as we know.
Right. And I'll go ahead and pitch this while we are, while we're talking about this subject.
Please do.
We have offices, like I said, all the way that stretch all the way to all throughout Georgia, Alabama, South Carolina. And a lot of us in this area, in the Deep South, have been able to find outlets outside of, just being stuck at home. Versus, I talked to a buddy of mine in Manhattan the other day, text with him, and he's in a 1,200 square foot apartment with 4 kids and his wife, and he can't go outside. And as we know, the heart and center of this pandemic is in Manhattan, in New York City, or the metropolitan area. So, yeah, we should take this time to. It's allowed me to appreciate the simple things, but I'm ready to go back to my hectic hustle and bustle and fighting for clients and traveling and doing all those good things. But yeah, we're really blessed to live where we do.
No doubt about it. And that's a great insight. I'm so glad that you thought to bring that up and add that to it, because it's absolutely true. And it's hard to be happy about it on the one hand because of everything that's going on. But on the other hand, it's good to be able to look around and say, for all the things that are happening in the world right now, we are so very fortunate that we have the abundance of beauty and nature and openness and sunshine and all that we have here in the Low Country. So Mike Hostilo, thank you so very much for being on today. We're going to end it on that high note. For those who are watching live, if you have any other questions later on, please feel free to send us those, or you can drop them in the comments. We'll make sure that Mike will get those answered if he has any. And in the meantime, we'll see you next time. This was
thank you for having me. Everybody out there, stay safe, and this will be over soon.
My pleasure, Mike. Thanks so much. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.